Good morning. It's June 29th. Another pleasant morning. Going up to 31 today, so it'll be warmer later on. And going to do a thorough walk in Cathedral today. I talked about this yesterday. Last week I walked up and down in transition and got most of it done, going back and forth between College and Victoria. And so today we'll do the same thing here in Cathedral. We'll go back and forth between College and 13th, a little shorter. And I can probably get the whole area in. So it'll be a very thorough tour of my neighborhood. So start by going up to Albert, walk up Albert to 13th, and then work our way back. More editing for me today, editing and rewriting The Tangled Stars. That's my current focus. Some publishing stuff, Star Song, which is the next book I'm publishing through Shadowpaw Press. Ingram Spark has finally given me the e-proof to look at, which I've been waiting on. It's taken much longer than usual this time. It's always nice to see water. And should water tonight. Ow, all of a sudden my foot's hurting. Hopefully that's just a momentary twinge, or that might bring this to an abrupt end. Oh, yeah, I guess it was just a cramp of some sort, maybe. Yeah, so I got to approve that, and then the goal is to have the ebook and the print book both available on July 13th. And yeah, try to do some promotion. Won't sell a lot of copies. It's hard to. It seems to be that in the independent publishing market, people are looking for series far more than standalone. But it'll be out there, and it'll sell some copies, and I'll have it. It'll be in print indefinitely, and as live events start happening, I'll be able to sell it directly. Sask Books has a store. It'll be on. It'll be on all the stores. Anyway, I'll let you know more about it when it goes live, for sure. I had a talk yesterday with Arthur Slade, who's a Saskatchewan author who's been very successful in the self-publishing world, as well as being traditionally published. He's a Governor General's Award medal winner, for example, for one of his YA books called Dust. So we were talking about trying to draw on his expertise, and I think we're going to focus on, or I'm going to focus on the Shards of Excalibur, which I've talked about many times in these walks, because I often, when I'm walking around the lake, it takes me right by where the whole thing starts in the book, when the Lady of the Lake shows up in Wascana Lake. So that's a 5-book completed series, and we're going to try to give it a new push as a series and see if I can find the people who would like to read that. So looking forward to that. That'll mean spending some money on advertising, and I think the covers are good, metadata is good, the books are good. 2 of them were long-listed for the, I think 2 of them were long-listed for the Sunburst Award, or at least one of them was, and 2 for the Aurora Award. Maybe that's the way it works. 2 were finalists for the Aurora Award in Young Adult. Okay, so we'll start going up here. We'll go up to 13th, and then just work our way back and forth to the Cathedral this morning. The whole independent publishing thing should play to my strengths. I can be prolific. I put my mind to it. I have a lot of books in hand, but somehow I haven't got the marketing thing down, even though I have a publicist helping me Just hasn't quite worked out to the extent I would like it to. I forgot to point out well, that's not a very good shot of it, but the old office building there, which used to be Saskatchewan Government Telephones and is now part of the Royal Saskatchewan Museum. It says Leopold's Local Tavern. And Specs, which is a kind of a high-end eyewear place. And of course, Petrocan, where we buy gas, or I buy gas usually, since it's so close. Perfect timing as far as crossing the street here goes. That lot has been vacant forever. I don't know why. It's never been developed. It's possible there used to be a gas station there, and so there's like underground storage tanks or something that make it problematic. I don't know. And here we have Class X Studios coming up on the left, where my daughter danced for many years and worked this last year while she was in Regina instead of at university, although she was doing university, but she was doing it from home. So she was able to work here as their receptionist. That all wrapped up last week. We're just waiting for the recital video so we can watch that. Old apartment building over there. You can see City Hall poking up over there. If you're on Facebook or YouTube, say hi. I'll be here for an hour or more, depending on how long this takes. La Bodega, I'm not sure they've survived, although they still have furniture up on their deck. I don't believe they've been open yet, though. This microprint place has been there for a long time. Gone through quite a bit of different technologies, I would think. Has apartments up above this old one, and then odd things in the basement. Barber, holistic healthcare. Don't know what else. Oh, we're hitting the lights perfectly here. This is Knox Metropolitan United Church, where we got married in 1997. Sorry, this is Knox Presbyterian Church. Sorry, this is First Presbyterian Church. Knox Presbyterian is in Weyburn. Knox United is over on Victoria Avenue. This is First Presbyterian. Anyway, that's where we got married. Margaret Ann's grandparents were very involved in the church there. Coming up next, we get Excalibur Cafe, Cat Cafe. I don't see any cats in the window, though. This is Nouveau Gallery. Bought art in there, been to lots of events there. That's Credit Union Central there. Just a strip mall over here. And that's number 1 fire station. I won't cross 13th because that just makes it too complicated. In fact, I think I'll cut through the parking lot here. Tall building there is Viterra, previously Saskatchewan Wheat Pool. Viet Thai across the street, place we get a lot of takeout food from and have eaten in many times as well. I've never been in that coffee shop. And here we have the Artesian, which is a former church, which is now a performance space. Used to be our main performance space when I was on the board of Golden Apple Theatre, a professional theatre company that friends formed, and I served on the board for a few years. We did lots of great shows, but unfortunately weren't able to keep it going. Looking down 13th here, lots of little stores, and we'll be staying on this side of it, but we'll be going as we go around the corner each time. We'll see each piece of it. Okay, now we'll go south on Angus. Shoe clinic over there. Traditions craft store. Oh, this has a nice tunnely look, doesn't it? So far nobody said hello this morning. I hope you're out there. How long did that take? About 10 minutes up, 10 minutes down will be 20. I don't know, actually it does eat up the time pretty quick. Well, it won't be 10 minutes because I started on the Crescent. I'm really just walking 3 blocks here. It's mostly still residential in here. Not all single unit. Some of the old houses have become more than one apartment in them, and there are some apartment buildings still in this part anyway. Oh, I had an accident at this intersection. On our first Volvo this was a few years ago, but it was quite old. I got hit at this intersection. And it kind of totaled it because it was old enough that it wasn't worth repairing. Nobody was hurt, but it was kind of my fault, so that was annoying. This is a bed and breakfast with the dragon motif. There used to be another apartment building here, and I think was this where the fire was? Previous building that was there? It's been a while too. Those are condos now, I think. On that side of the street, over there. You have some lovely flowering trees in front in the spring. Now that tall building over there was this Saskatel's building after the older building, which was the original Saskatchewan Government Telephones building. Now it's various things. Sasktel has a office building downtown attached to the Cornwall Centre. And my wife works for Sasktel. She's an engineer for Sasktel. She'll be going back into the office full time later in July as the health restrictions all lift on July 11th or 13th. I think it's the 11th. Still nobody has said hi this morning. So the low one over there, that's the Saskatchewan Government Telephones building that is now Royal Saskatchewan Museum and has a lot of labs in it and specimens. I've mentioned before, it was an international story about a particular dinosaur fossil found in amber. And I was reading that in Reuters, and, all the big online sites, and realized that it was in that building, like a block from my house, which is kind of cool. I've been in there a couple of times. It's interesting inside. There was a time I thought I might want to be a paleontologist, but it's rather like, I mean, I never got to the point of actually studying it, but one of the authors I interviewed, is that Sebastian de Castile, I think, said he wanted to be an archaeologist until about 4 hours into his first field work and realized he didn't want to do that. Having seen paleontologists in the field at work, as I was out in the Frenchman River Valley when they found Scotty the T-Rex, who's actually at the main Royal Saskatchewan. Well, there's a cast of him at the Royal Saskatchewan Museum. I think the fossils might still be out at the T-Rex Discovery Center. I don't really know where the actual fossils are. But his main display of him is here at the Royal Saskatchewan Museum, just over there, kitty corner. And anyway, I was out there when they were digging him up. You know, and it's hot, and it's dirty, and you're picking away at bones with a tiny little pick and a brush, and it just didn't look like fun. Somewhere along the way I made that decision before I ever got there. Sort of like veterinarian. I thought I might want to be a veterinarian. That was partly the James Herriot influence. If you remember those books, All Creatures Great and Small. There's Davin School. But when I was in high school, I did a day ride along with a provincial veterinarian. Now, admittedly, I had never had any desire to be a large animal vet, and reading James Herriot books will disabuse you of that pretty much, because he spends a lot of the time sticking his hand up inside cows. Oh, there goes a hare, just the other side of those bushes. Right there, here he goes. I'm not chasing you. So I thought I might want to be a small animal vet, but then I got thinking about that too, and much of the time you have to put animals to sleep, and distraught owners, and decided that probably wasn't for me either. And somewhere in there, I started thinking more about writing and art, music, that sort of stuff. Could have gone into science. They all interested me, but in the end, I chose writing. I became a newspaper reporter and eventually a freelance writer while doing some professional, well, first just for fun, theater work, and then professional theater work and singing at pretty high level. So I did still do the music. The only thing I ever did with the art was I drew editorial cartoons for the Weyburn Review for many of the years I was there. And one of these days, I'm going to find the boxes of those in the basement, because my mom clipped out everything that I did for the 8 years I worked for the Weyburn Review. So it's all in boxes in the basement, up high, so it doesn't get wet in case we get water in the basement. And put them online. They're not great art, but some of them are pretty good cartoons. So we walked down Angus, now we're walking up Ray Street. Another house for sale if you're looking in the market. I always like this sort of half-timbered look. Tudor, not Tudor as in a two-door car, but Tudor as in Tudor Kings. Oh, there's someone. Hi, Miriam, from India. Oh, there goes a cat. Doing a tour of the neighbourhood today that I haven't done in quite this detailed a fashion. Walking up one street and down the other between College Avenue and 13th Avenue. which is about 3 blocks. Just up and down through the whole Cathedral area here, it's called. Our apartments over there. All right, we cross 14th here. Don't know if I'll get the whole block done or not. I mean, the whole Cathedral area done. It's several blocks, and it takes more time than you might think. So I've already been out 20 minutes. Still got lots of blocks to go. So I've walked along many of these streets, but not in this sort of organized fashion. In some ways it would make more sense to go all the way to Victoria, but crossing 13th is a pain because it's fairly busy, or can be, and only certain blocks have crosswalks, so. This is the corner I always find interesting. On the north side over there is a New Age bookstore, and on this side is a Christian bookstore. So I suppose which side of that appeals to you more says something about your upbringing and current interests. There's also a tea shop over there, a cup of tea. And Paper Umbrella down there is a nice stationery store. So there's lots of these little shops along here. This used to be the Oddfellows Hall. I think it's a community center of some sort. I don't know what it is. I've never really been in here. It's basically a coffee shop kind of place. And there's often long lines for the ice cream here. There's Aslan peeking up. What's that? Yes, it is quite lovely. I always think of that as Aslan anyway, from the Narnia Chronicles. Here's our brand new liquor store, just opened. Very convenient for us. Need a bottle of wine for dinner. Now it's a 3-block walk because this is Retallick and we're on the corner of Retallick and Angus Crescent, just 4 blocks south of here. And we'll go down Retallick now. That's our grocery store over there, where we buy groceries. Safeway. Typically on Saturday. Hair design. So along 13th you get more shops and then it goes back to more residential as you walk back south of 13th. And yesterday I was over by the Cathedral, so that's what gives the neighborhood its name. You can see the spires over there. Another one of the many little free libraries that are in the area. The Safeway was completely renovated a few years ago. It was much smaller than that. Kind of unusual, a black house Not a color very many people go for. Only slightly ominous looking. Got some orange on it, makes it very good for Halloween. Go down the other side here. The Mayfair Apartments. Never been in there. They had a fire and were closed for a long time, but I guess they're open again, renting, have been for a while. A nice house here, I like this one. Just very well kept and keeps the character of when it was built, and it has the lovely flowers on the front. But there's several nice ones along here. I would like ours to look that nice, but we haven't done the outside. Hasn't been touched for a long time, and we're currently focused on building a deck. Thought what had happened this summer, but it looks like it'll be in the spring. And an extension. So next summer, we can really enjoy our backyard. And then we'll think about fixing the stucco and painting the house, getting some new sod on our yard and things like that. We completely redid the interior a few years ago. Took it right down to the studs, put in drywall instead of plaster, new wiring and all that stuff. Rearranged a few things. On 15th, this is a four-way stop. Always the best place to cross. As long as the cars remember it's a four-way stop. Next intersection is College, so we'll turn right and go back the other way again. I'm glad I'm just walking and not jogging, because I do occasionally get odd twinges in my legs from all the walking. I'm sure if I were jogging like I started to last fall, I would have had to stop and not do anything at all, so walking is a much better choice. But I'm probably walking 40 or 50 kilometers a week doing this. Yeah, at least 50, I would think. Maybe more like 60 on an average. So there's Davin School, designed by the same architect that designed our house. It's now called Crescent School, because we live in an era when people think removing historical names from things will somehow improve the present. Okay, next up is Robinson. I like that house on that corner. More modern. I'd love to see what it looks like inside, but I've never been in it. Okay, now we'll go north on Robinson. This is Connaught Crescent over here. There's three of them. Connaught is only a half crescent because it runs into the schoolyard. Angus is our crescent, and then there's Leopold, which is the biggest. They're all brand new neighborhoods about 1910. The oldest house, I think, dates to about 1910, 1914, somewhere in there. And there's a few modern ones popping up in here too, facing each other in this case. But mostly it's still the original neighborhood houses here on both sides. I mentioned before when we moved here from Texas, we couldn't figure out why with all this land the houses were upright and built so close together. You can sometimes see, the developers had a pattern that they followed for every house. So here you have a whole string of them with the same roof line and layout. Probably all built at the same time by a developer. Back across 15th. And you get some more apartment buildings again as you get closer to 13th. Lady Robinson Apartments, not much to write home about architecturally, these ones. They're just brick boxes. They've been there a long time though. I did know somebody that lived there. I can't remember if I was inside it or not. And a very blank wall in the middle. And there's an apartment building. Relatively new. Second set of these. And this one over here is quite nice. We actually looked at a place in it when we were looking for a place to live when we got married, up on the 3rd floor, but there's no elevator. The stairs would have been a problem, especially because we expected to, as indeed happened, change places with my wife's mother, elderly mother. She could never live there. And also, the floor slanted in the kitchen. I mean, if you dropped something, you would always know where it ended up because it would roll down into one corner. Those are one of those, I think these are the Alpha apartments. I think they had a fire in the basement there too, but it didn't take down the whole building, as you can see. Our piano used to live there. Our piano belonged to, the nice one. Our piano belonged to Alicia Burkett, one of the first voice teachers in town. And my wife's grandparents were friends with her. She lived on the top floor because she couldn't bear to have anybody over her head. And apparently, even though her husband was quite crippled and had a great deal of difficulty with the stairs. So I don't know how long she lived there. And the piano would have been up there. Grand piano, not a full concert piano. Maybe grand. And when she moved back to England, she retired, moved back to England in the 50s. My grandparents-in-law, my wife's grandparents, got the piano, which now sits in our living room and has ever since. Even when we renovated, we buy our meat here at Butcher Boy. Even when it renovated, and there's the Orange Cafe, it stayed there inside a box. There's a bakery here, chocolate store, Takeaway Gourmet. Sells a lot of things, but we think of it as the cheese store. Salon, Shannon's Pub and Grill. I don't go in there very often. Another hair place. We've got the Mercury Cafe over there with the rocket ship on it, which, appeals to me. It's just a kind of a hamburger place. when you just want that sort of food. There's a pet shop over there. Here we have Gale's Florist, and then this is Pacific Fresh Fish, where we buy our fish. So you got everything you need here in the neighborhood. Oh, and Brandy's corner store here has a post office in it, so I mail a lot of stuff from there. There's also a coffee shop over there. So that's where I mail some of the stuff that I send out for Kickstarter rewards. Then you've got Westminster United here with the dome. Nice place to sing. These rows of very similar houses, all with businesses in them, including the blue one down here is Des Arts, which is a candy and ice cream shop we've been in many times. There's the front of Westminster United. Oh, and of course there's the Cathedral again. I walked down the other side of it yesterday, if you look. And that's what gives the neighborhood its name. Nice to be in the shade again. It's not that warm, but it is sunny. There's the Cathedral again from this side. Morning. And that was the, and I guess maybe still is, the parsonage, the vicarage, where the priest would live. Priests. And then up next is Holy Rosary School, which I walked down the other side of yesterday as well. Also, I think the Catholic School Board offices are in here. Very nice and green in here. I think I'm right in saying that the Catholic School Board is in that building. And the school behind it. So we carry on south. We're now on Cameron Street. If I went all the way down to the end, we'd get to that footbridge I cross so often when I'm walking in this neighborhood. "37 minutes. I can keep going a few more blocks. Still be more or less an hour. I don't think I'll make it all the way to Elphinstone though. So far I only had one hello from anybody on YouTube or Facebook. If you're there, say hi. I'll say hi back, answer any questions if I can. I always wondered how this apartment building somehow popped up in here with all the single unit dwellings. I guess it's permitted by the zoning. Oh, that looks nice. I've got a nice little garden as well and a very small house. Very coming. I will avoid the rush and cross over. They have a dog. It's always dogs. Not that I dislike dogs. I get tired of seeing them every time I walk. Taking up the sidewalk. Another one for sale if you're in the market. Oh no. I guess this is Cameron, but it actually connects to Angus Crescent, so if I kept walking, it would be straight across to where I want to go. So I'll go this way and go back another block and back. Gotta watch my feet. So this is Angus Crescent, so for all that walking, if I walked straight on down here, I'd be home. So doing it this way, 1 block, 3 blocks up and 3 blocks down, actually eats up your time pretty darn quick. And Elphinstone is still way down there. I kind of thought I might get all the way to Elphinstone, but I won't if I keep walking to 13th. However, we're now going to intersect with where I walked yesterday. So maybe I will. More lovely flowers. Still coming in, a lot of them. Not at their peak yet. Garnet is the street I lived on. Down to the left, a couple of blocks, when I first moved to the neighbourhood in 1990 something. Early 90s. When I lived here for the first time, down that way. So this has been my neighborhood for a very long time, because I married somebody who had a house, whose family had a house like 3 blocks from where I was already living, so it wasn't much of a move. When we took over we didn't take the house right away. Her mother lived there for many years. But visited it a lot. And then, and the condo is not that far away either that we did live in. Not quite in this neighborhood, but it's like a 10-minute walk from the house. I like the sidewalks that are inside the trees. On our block, the sidewalk is right up against the curb, and then the trees are inside that. The trees are city-owned. So some portion of our front yard actually belongs to the city, I guess. Without getting a surveyor involved, it's hard to be sure after 80 years. 82 years the house has been in the family. My wife's family and now us. Another lovely front yard garden. I do like the looks of those. And of course, less mowing. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll go on up, but I'm not going all the way to 13th because I actually walked right by the cathedral up here. Yesterday, so I will cut it a little shorter now, and that might work out just about right for my original plan of walking, getting all the way over to Elphinstone, and then walking back along the dike to get home. Might take me a bit over an hour now, but it's okay. Only Miriam so far has said hi. I don't know if you're still there or not, Miriam. Everybody else is watching live on Facebook or YouTube. Let me know. I haven't seen any unstable internet warnings today, so I'm hoping I've had a good solid stream the whole way. I keep debating whether I should do what I keep doing, which is uploading the non-buffering version, when I could just leave up the original stream, but the original stream is only at 720, and when I upload it, it's 1080, and of course there's no buffering issues at all. It's just a little more work. I think I'll keep doing it that way. I don't leave up the live stream, it seems redundant. So once the recording is live processed, there's Holy Rosary School over there. I delete the live stream, what's left of it. Okay, so we're cutting a little short instead of walking all the way up to 13th. It's also true I tend to get a few more people if I start a little later. But I start it when it makes sense for me. It's not like I'm trying to keep a schedule. Okay, now I'll go down this way. Question is, do I go all the way to college again? Maybe I do. Another one for sale, if you're looking. Let me think how this will work out. Am I just one block off of Elphinstone now? No, okay. So I'll go all the way to college one more time. Well, there's my first unstable internet connection warning. Too many trees, I guess. Apartments over there. This is 15th again. I like that one. I like the color scheme. It's different. Very attractive. I don't think I'd paint our house that color. I don't mind looking at it on somebody else's house. Another free library here on the right. I got a lot of books. I could come out and put my books in every one of these I go past. I wouldn't take one. I'd just leave one. My daughter has a friend who lives along here. She still lives along here. They were very good friends in elementary school and not as close now. Got a dog. Morning. Boom. Can actually walk through those for exciting 3D action. Okay, go to college one more time. Go up one more block to the right, then come down Elphinstone, and then I think I'll take the dike home. So it'll put us over an hour, but I will feel that I have accomplished my original goal. I just won't go all the way to 13th because I've walked along there before. The front of my shirt is suddenly wet with cold water. It means it's not sweat. It must have been water on the branches I just flicked with the camera. Montague Street. Don't know who Montague was, but this is his street. Ooh, there's a color. Again, I don't mind looking at it on somebody else's house. I wouldn't paint my house that color. Okay, one more time up this way, over to Elphinstone, down to the dike, and we'll use that to get home so we get another glimpse of the creek today. This one's a bit larger among the older houses than many of the ones around here. I like that style too, very symmetrical. I think I'll just go up as far as 15th here this time. St. Mary's Anglican Church over there. Been in there a few times. Sang at somebody's funeral there once. You know, good times. Oop, there's a cat. Good thing I'm not superstitious, because that was a black cat that just crossed my path. There's the church. That gate there is called the Leach Gate, and it's what you're supposed to take the coffin through, if I remember right. But what it struck me about it the first time I heard that expression was that a lich in, that's the way we pronounced it, in Dungeons and Dragons is a very powerful monster, an undead witch or wizard. Well, maybe I'll take the alley down just to be different, rather than walk along Elphinstone. Heading back toward the creek now, the dike along the creek. There's a squirrel too, all sorts of wildlife this morning. Got something in his mouth. If you count cats as wildlife, I guess. The only real wildlife is snowshoe hare I saw early on, and the squirrel. Maybe I'll stay in the alley here to walk on down to the park area and the dike. Maybe I won't go up on the, well, if I don't go up on the dike, I can't look at the creek. I walked along the creek yesterday. I always walk along the creek in some fashion on Mondays. It's a tradition. And I think 116 or 17 videos, which this is, number 116 or 117, I think that's long enough to say I've got traditions. Yeah, we'll take the alley here too. I haven't walked along it. It looks inviting with the greenery space at the end. I should probably do more. I usually talk a little bit about my books and stuff in the first part of the video. I should probably do that all the time, because one function of this is supposed to be promotion. It's not really what it's about. It's about me walking and getting some exercise and having a motivation to keep doing it. Well, unstable internet down here too. And we just climb up that grassy hill there, and we'll be on the dike on the south side of the creek. There's the Elphinstone Bridge. There's the dike. And there's the creek. Won't walk too far along at this time. Didn't walk on this side yesterday. Oh, there's Kirk from Vancouver coming in on the tail end here, Kirk. Only about 10 minutes to go, I think. It's all just green space over here. There is a path close to the creek and the trees on the other side that I walked along. So I think I'll go down this path here. So just a brief bit along the creek today. So this is really all, ow! There's a gully down the middle of this path because of water running down it. This is really all basically flood control area, I think, but also parkland. Although, if you got a flood here now at the dike, that would be a very bad flood and we'd all be in severe trouble. But there were bad floods in this neighborhood in the 70s, and that's why that dike is there now. Before, I think it just was pretty flat right up to the creek. Now we'll go to the left, get onto Leopold Crescent. This is Garnet Street, again, where I used to live. Off to my right a couple of blocks. been in that house. It used to belong to Joseph Pettick. He was a very noted architect. He designed City Hall, he designed the SAS Power building downtown, among many others. He used to live there. It's very misleading, that house, because it just looks so small in front because it's low, but it's actually got a lot of space that goes back quite a ways. Very open. There's a great reception party house, which is why we were there. It was for some sort of reception. Everybody's in the alley there for some reason. I was thinking about taking it, but it's too crowded. Then I think Bob Hughes, who was editor of the Meter Post, lived there for a while. Don't know who's there now. So again, this is where Cameron Street picks up, and the footbridge that I often walk across is right down at the end of that. This is the back of the row houses I often walk in front of. Another free library. Somebody asked me, was it yesterday's walk? If there were a lot of those around, or asked if that's what those were, and yes, then we do have a lot of them around here. I don't know if anybody takes books out of them. There's lots of them there. I said, I keep thinking maybe I should put my books in them. Okay, we'll go up the alley to Angus Crescent, my crescent, or at least in that general direction. Might still go down the alley to my right, just to be different. I think I will. It's recently been graded, it looks like. This would be the alley between Angus and Leopold Crescents, which is why it curves. Doesn't carry on though. Doesn't go through to the cross street from this direction. And this will take us up to Angus Crescent and practically home. Because this is our corner coming up on the right. We're not quite on the corner, but this is the closest corner to us. And so this is where we will end today. A very thorough tour of Cathedral. I only missed part of a couple of streets. There you go. That's it for today. Thanks for walking with me, whether live or watching the replay. And I'll be back tomorrow. Bye for now.